welcome back to week 5 of the Gridiron Address. Joining me this evening is Jason Colenso. Jason, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm a little, as a New York fan, I'm a little shell-shocked right now, but I'm here, man. I'm glad to be on. What a crazy, exciting day, dude. Let's rock.
It was a very exciting day, and on a slightly more somber note, we do have some unfortunate news to share. Our dear friend Chris DeLuca will be out indefinitely with mononucleosis. Thoughts and prayers with our good friend Chris.
We
But
love you, Chris.
Jason, moving on, excuse me. On a much more positive note than your Giants, my Carolina Panthers down 17-0. They got it together. They came back and won 27-24. Night and day from the first half to the second half. I really liked what I saw. Rico Dowdle had a career day, over 200 rushing yards.
Oof.
Phenomenal game. Thank you, Dallas, for not re-signing him. Greatly appreciated. But, Jason, what I want to look at first is the Dolphins side of this.
Woo.
Sitting at 1-4, they have a slim to none chance of making the playoffs. It's not looking good in Miami. Jason, how much longer do you think Mike McDaniels is going to stick around there?
What time is it? I think
7:48.
tomorrow. This is tomorrow by 8 a.m. maybe. I don't know, man. The Miami Dolphins look horrendous. Just all facets of the ball. They have absolutely no run game. You got Devon A-Chain. He looks unenthusiastic, and they're not getting him any plays. I know you're down Tyreek Hill, but you still got Jalen Waddle. You still got, some pieces there, dude. I have no idea, man. That Dolphins team just looks like they're playing uninspired football. And as a Giants fan, I know what that looks like. If it wasn't for the Jets doing Jets things, they would be the worst team in the East, but they're going to be at the bottom. I don't see them turning it around. Tua looks lost. He is not the answer in Miami. I think it may be time to move on from him. But yeah, I think a coaching change is coming quickly in Miami because they just don't look good as an organization all the way around. I could see if you had some positivity on one side of the ball, but right now that defense is atrocious. Special teams, the run game, no. I mean, Dolphins, I'm sorry. I got a lot of Florida love here with some peeps down in Florida. So I got to show some Dolphin love, but right now they look terrible.
It is not looking good in Miami, and defensive penalties that prove to be the nail in the coffin. They stopped the Panthers on third down, but there's defensive holding, and that let Carolina convert, and that sealed the game in the end. I don't know if I would have trusted Carolina's defense to stop Miami on that last drive, at least through the air, because Waddle had that deep touchdown in the second half. I just don't completely trust that Panthers defense just quite yet. Shannon, what's up? Appreciate you watching. And now on the Panthers side of this, I feel like the main story outside of the run defense being able to hold up really well, which I love that. D-line got pressured a lot of the time. Only time they didn't really is when they gave up that big touchdown. But Rico Dowdle, he carried this team without a shadow of a doubt. He's the reason Carolina won this game. And this is how Carolina is going to win games, is by establishing the run and controlling the clock and not letting the other team get too many offensive possessions. But Chuba Hubbard is still the incumbent starter, and I think deserves to still be the starter. But after this performance, I personally think Rico Dowdle deserves more carries. It deserves to be more of a split backfield. Yeah. He looked incredibly explosive, and that's not to say that Hubbard isn't explosive, but Dowdle just brings more speed than Hubbard does. Hubbard's more of the hard-hitting power back out of that duo. Jason, would you agree with that Rico Dowdle has earned more reps in that Panthers backfield?
I mean, he definitely has. What a tremendous performance, man. Over 200 yards. That's ridiculous. I mean, the Dolphins have a bad run defense, but he made them look non-existent. So, look, if anything has shown us here in the NFL is that Detroit they have a two-headed monster, and they've proven that it could work. So if Detroit can do it, if Tampa Bay can do it with White and Bucky Irvin, I know Bucky Irvin was hurt with White out, but I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that would kill to have a two-headed monster at running back. And Rico Dowdle, yeah, man, go out there and run. I mean, 1,000-yard performer, and you got him on your squad. Look, they're going to need it. That offense still has a lot of questions. Look, Young, look, he only had 198 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had an interception, 3 sacks. Ted McMillan had 6 catches for 73 yards, didn't have a touchdown. But other than that, Leggett had a couple of catches. Horn Jr. came, his first game as a rookie, had a couple of catches. So that is a stagnant offense. So if these guys are going to be your bell cows now, and you're going to have to, you're going to be able to have 2 of them now between Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle, run with them, man. Run the football. You can control the clock. I think you will get more out of Young when you run the football, control the line of scrimmage. You can get the play action pass. I think that will do nothing but help him. Now he doesn't have to chuck the ball up 30, 40 times and risk losing the game. So still work to do on offense. It was a get right game after getting destroyed last week. So you guys definitely needed that. You definitely needed the confidence back on defense to show that you can stop some teams. But it's, what are you going to do next week? Keep it going. You got to keep momentum going in this league.
Absolutely got to keep momentum rolling. They have the Cowboys next week. I mean, that Cowboys offense has been alarmingly powerful this season. I was a little surprised, especially with CD out. Yes, the Jets defense isn't that good, but still they were able to put up points. That run game is looking good. George Pickens is playing really well. Once they get back, they are only getting better. But Jason, to your point about the Panthers offense, I think you're spot on. They're only going to be able to win games if Hubbard and Dowdle are able to get the ball moving. That'll open up the play action game for Bryce Young. I don't expect the Panthers to win games as a pass-first team. That's just not how they're built. Can't wait for Jalen Coker to get back. I think that passing game will look a lot better once he's in there. And I was really happy with how Jimmy Horn did. He had a really big conversion on that last drive to the last drive that got them up. Yeah, he stepped up big in his first NFL game. Super happy with that. And
I think they're really missing Thielen. I really believe
they should not have traded
offense. No, you need the third down stud. You needed that guy that you knew you could count on that would catch just about anything, and to help these young receivers. Right now, you got a really, really young wide receiver core there that needs some veteran leadership. So I really do believe that was a mistake letting him go. Thielen, I think he could have brought this team together a little bit more on that offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, without a doubt. I was not a big fan of that move, and I think I don't know. I was at least hoping that Renfro would be able to step into an Adam Thielen-esque role, but that's not really panning out like I was hoping it would. But, Jason, we got to move on. We got to talk about your New York Giants. They lost to the Saints. I am incredibly disappointed. I'm not a Giants fan. I don't like the Saints. I was expecting the Giants to get this done, and Jason, turnovers killed them. I mean, and Spencer Rattler looked like a competent NFL quarterback who he had actually been playing relatively well despite their own forced start. But Jason, I just want to get your thoughts on this game real quick.
I told myself I was going to be cool because, I love being on your show and I don't want to just completely flip out. Because watching this game was probably very frustrating, especially with the Yankees getting completely embarrassed by the Blue Jays. So that did not help my New York attitude. I actually have it on my notes here. Fire Brian Daboll. That team looks terrible. It is time for a leadership change. You threw Dart out there. You threw Scatterboo out there. 2 great rookies, but you threw them out there way too early. All you were doing is trying to save your job or save your next job, because to me, I think they're gone anyway at the end of the season. I think Daboll and that crew are gone at the end of the season anyways. So essentially, you threw those guys out there to, what are you going to do in your next gig? So I think that's what this is all about, especially with Daniel Jones playing out of his mind right now with that Colts team. Atrocious. The defense, 0 sacks. Spencer Rattler. And you have 0 sacks? I have a problem with that. You had, coming into the season, probably the most feared front line defensive line. You talk about some monsters. You get Abdul Carter, steal of the draft, all this hype coming into the season, and you can't sack Spencer Rattler of the Aints. It was a horrible performance. Jackson Dart looked lost out there. Look, he chucked the ball up 40 times. You have a rookie starting his second game, and you have him chucking the ball up 40 times. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. We have 3 fumbles, 2 interceptions. I mean, it was an absolute mess. Look, I know this is the NFL, and the Saints aren't a really good team, but they're still an NFL team. New Orleans is a tough place to play. That they definitely have great home field advantage there in Nolens. But that Giants team, you would have thought they would have rode into this with some kind of positive emotion after winning last week against the Chargers, but they did not. They looked like the bad news Bears, fumbling, stumbling all over it. Again, all facets of the ball, no heart on defense, poor performance on offense, not taking care of the ball. Easy stuff. Football 101, high and tight, hold the football. Don't chuck it away. Go through your progressions. If you don't have a good read, throw the ball out of bounds. Absolutely none of that. As a Giants fan, I am extremely disappointed. This season is essentially done. I would hope that they take Dart out and maybe put Jameis Winston in. I do not want to see this kid get hurt because he is our future. But right now, the only reason he is in there is for Dable to save face, because he was supposed to be this big quarterback whisperer and all the stuff he did with Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen's talent shadowed how bad Brian Dable is, and that team looks absolutely atrocious. I am disappointed as a Giants fan. Yeah, again, I'm trying to be cool. I don't want to throw anything. We're cool.
You're all good. I understand the frustration, and we have Mr. Mono himself in the comments. Chris saying Rattler is underrated. 1 in 10 doesn't reflect his early career, and he is in fact alive.
I love you, Chris. Stop. It's Spencer Rattler. Stop.
I'm not going to say he's underrated. I feel like he is appropriately rated as a quarterback. Yeah. And
bottom of the barrel. Come on.
He's still young, and he's in a bad spot. I want to cut him some slack in that situation. The Saints are not a good spot for a young quarterback. And this isn't a football comment, but Yankees are the Cowboys of the MLB. Good in the regular season. Got great players. Come playoff time, they just crumble. Jason, I know you mentioned the Yankees earlier, but what are your thoughts on that? Because it sounds kind of spot on.
To hear that with the Cowboys in the same breath again as a New York fan, it kind of just I think I threw up in my mouth a little bit. If we could fire 2 guys at the same time on Monday morning, I would invite that, because Boone needs to go too. I really believe he has overstayed his welcome in New York with some of the moves he has made this postseason, last postseason, throughout the years he's been as a Yankee fan. So I think Dable and Boone both need to go quickly. But yeah, that it was not a good day as a New Yorker. Jets terrible too. So we're hoping the Bills can maybe, give the upstate, guys can give us a little bit of a lift here. But yeah, it was an all around rough day in the Colenso household. Just my heart hurts right now.
Would you want to see Brian Dable as the Yankees manager
and
Aaron Boone as the
No.
Giants coach?
He needs to go. He needs to go away. Get him out of New York completely. I think they need to like send him to the West Coast. He needs to, both of them need to go as far away from New York as possible. Um, yeah, terrible, terrible. Ah,
Yeah,
not
I
happy
mean,
camper.
look, at least the Yankees made the playoffs. Royals fell short. That was incredibly disappointing. But moving on, the Ravens in their first game without Lamar Jackson, they get
Ooh,
absolutely destroyed by
ooh.
the Houston Texans. Their defense, yes, it was banged up, but you gave up 44 points to a Texans team that had been struggling through the first 4 weeks of the season. With how they looked in this game without Lamar, they're sitting at 1-4 with little to no chance to make the playoffs. Do you think we can say that their season is functionally over?
I don't want to say it's over. There's a little bit of life left in them just because of the division that they're in. Um, with Cincinnati, the Bungles being the Bungles, and the Steelers not really, uh, good or bad. They're just eh. So I think they have a chance if Lamar can get back in there. Look, what a bananas day. Can we just say what a crazy bananas day in the NFL it was today? I'm watching those early games. Shout out Red Zone. Love Scott Hansen. But man, I'm sitting here watching these games and all the blowouts we had. We had some comeback games. We had some crazy plays. What a great fun day to be an NFL fan. So, but the Ravens look terrible. Look, dude, Cooper Rush. You have Cooper Rush out there. You only ran the ball 15 times. He had 44 yards rushing. Derrick Henry had a touchdown, was a 1 yard touchdown. So you did not run the ball. You didn't establish the run. You threw Cooper Rush out there. He threw 3 INTs. That Ravens defense looks terrible. I mean, Ray Lewis ain't walking through that door, but man, they look like a shell of a typical Ravens defense. So that is extremely disappointed. I would not be surprised to see maybe a defensive coordinator, make his way out of Baltimore here fairly soon because that Ravens defense is atrocious. They gave CJ Stroud a get right game. He was struggling. That offensive line was struggling in the Texans. So for him to go out there, have 4 TDs, 250 yards through the air, they had 167 yards on the ground. So that Texans team just got the boost that they needed. They beat a good Ravens team handily, and everybody had a good game. So they're going to carry that momentum on with them. But Baltimore, they got a slim chance. But Lamar, you better throw some icy hot on that hammy, dude, and get out there real quick. Because if not, that team is in trouble. And you can't live and die by one guy. That defense in Baltimore needs help.
Without a doubt. And Jason, you mentioned the Texans. Everyone played great. Do we think that this is the game where they finally get it together? Have they found their groove? Or is this performance largely based on how many injuries the Ravens were dealing with on both the defensive and offensive side of the football?
I think it's a little bit of both. Again, that Texans offensive line is still atrocious. They have weapons. They have a solid defense. It's that offensive line keeping CJ Stroud upright. So if they can get that offensive line tightened up and give CJ Stroud time to distribute the football, they're going to be in the playoffs again. They're going to be a solid team, and I could see them making some noise. But moving forward, if they don't try to do something with that offensive line, they're going to go back to square one. As soon as they play a good defensive team, and CJ Stroud ends up on his back a lot, they're going to be back to struggling. So we'll see what they do the next couple of weeks.
And Chris saying as a bold prediction for next week, it involves the Steelers doing what we say they're always going to do. They play the Browns next week. Chris, I'm going to go ahead and guess that it is going to be losing to the Browns and Dylan Gabriel, who is more than likely going to be starting. That wouldn't surprise me. That would be a very Steelers thing to do. Lose a random game to a bad team. But moving on to another game, the Broncos put up 18 points in the fourth quarter to hand the Philadelphia Eagles their first loss of the season. Jason, do you think this Broncos team is a potential dark horse to win the AFC?
I don't want to say they're a dark horse because they were there in the mix last year. Bo Nix, his rookie year, had those guys in the playoffs. So I would be shocked if they weren't in the conversation. They have a really good defense. Bo Nix has still impressed. For that Broncos team today to keep their composure, grind out a football game, in which you got to do. You're not going to win every game. This ain't the 72 Dolphins. So Philadelphia, you can lay a stinker, but it's when you lay a stinker, it's the other team. Can they take the opportunity and come back and win? And the Broncos did. So yes, I can see the Broncos winning the AFC and making some noise. Defense, you got a lot of teams that are still kind of struggling out there with identity. Even the Chiefs, you got Patrick Mahomes, but you still got a lot of questions on the offensive side of the ball with injuries. So yeah, I can see the Broncos making it to the Super Bowl. I mean, they are a good team. They have a good offense. They got a lot of young weapons, and they have a really good defense, and they have a coach that's been there before and has won a chip. So be careful. You do not want to face the Broncos moving forward or going into the playoffs because they can punch you in the mouth. And they did that today to the Philadelphia Eagles.
And keeping it in the AFC, the Colts picked up a dominant win over a very bad Raiders team, 40-6. Jason, this Colts team, I feel like they came out of absolutely nowhere this year. Do you think that they are legit, or have they benefited from playing mostly bad teams? They've picked up big wins against the Dolphins, Titans, and Raiders, and then they did get a 1-point win against the Broncos in week 2. That was very close. They were able to pull out that win, and then they played another good team in the Rams, which they lost. Do you think that once they get into some harder games, we'll see them start to struggle, or is this team actually legit and they can make a playoff run?
I mean, it's a legit team. They look good. I mean, you play who's in front of you, good or bad. I mean, this is the NFL. You play your schedule and you win the games you got to win. Even the Rams game, it was still competitive. It's not like they got blown out. So Daniel Jones, talk about the rebirth, man. He has completely changed the narrative on his career right now. Unbelievable. Coming in there, he wasn't even considered the starter coming into training camp. For him to come in, put his head down, go through training camp, and come out the other end as a Colts starter and in the lead for possibly MVP of the league, which has been crazy to think about. But man, Jonathan Taylor, he is on another level. He has proven that he should be one of the top 3, maybe running backs in the league right now. He's also, I think, up there for league MVP. He has, played very well. But look, they got a good run team. They got a good run game. They got offensive weapons. They got a good defense. They're playing good football. And once you have confidence and win games, there's nothing you can't do. So right now, the Colts are going with a lot of confidence. They're beating who's in front of them. They're beating bad teams really bad. So it's not like they're just squeaking by these bad teams. They're whooping up on these bad teams. And good teams, they keep it close, and they got a shot. And I think the Colts are a magical story. Who knows? I think they may be in the conversation too here in a little bit for making the Super Bowl too, because man, you can't write this stuff. Daniel Jones, Disney movie, get it going right now. He was left for dead. He was on the garbage pile. Now he's in line to possibly winning an MVP. It's crazy how NFL works.
Spectacular. I would love to see a Daniel Jones Super Bowl run. It would just be perfect.
Well, I mean, Saquon did it last year with the Eagles because the Giants got rid of him. Mm-hmm. We got rid of Danny Dimes, so now he's Indiana Jones. And if he turns around and goes to the Super Bowl, I don't even know what to do with that. The Giants will be the minor leagues for good football players, and then they can go on to another team and win. So it's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
It really is. And Chris saying Geno regressing, and I want to throw this back to a show that we did in the summer, quarterback rankings. I had Geno Smith at 18, and I remember catching a little bit of flack for that one.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, don't look where I put Daniel Jones. Ignore that. That didn't happen.
I don't even know if he made the list.
I didn't have him bottom 5 at all. No, that wasn't real.
Yeah,
But
that Raiders offense looks abysmal. Oof.
yeah, the Raiders they're in a rough spot. That is a topic for another show, probably whenever I can get Cody on, our resident Raiders fan here. But moving on, Jason, we got to talk about the Jets. They are 0-5. That defense has not forced a turnover all season. This is really surprising to me. I thought that Jets defense would look pretty solid with Aaron Glenn as their head coach. I was expecting a lot more from that unit. Jason, are you surprised by how poorly their defense is performing, given the fact that they brought in a defensive-minded head coach in Aaron Glenn?
I really am. I thought Jets were going to be the surprising team this year. Not the Colts, not but I really thought Jets coming in, a new breath of fresh air, a new life. You got Fields, quarterback. Maybe the defense is happy because you got a defensive-minded coach. Man, Sauce Gardner, terrible. He looks awful. That defense looks awful. They're just letting people run up and down the field on them. The Jets keep jetting. I don't know how to explain it. They just have this negative aura around them, and I don't know if they got to do something. I mean, New York, rough day in New York today, but man, that defense does not look, again, inspired. They're not rushing the quarterback. They're not even putting pressure on anybody. The run defense is atrocious. They look like they're just going through the motions. Now, I know they kind of had a little bit of a comeback slight at the end of the game here with Fields coming back, which, again, he's been on his third team in his third year. So I can understand some of the offensive struggles on there. But, man, yeah, I wanted to see more out of that defense. And, again, underperforming, underwhelming, and the Jets keep jetting.
That they do. Alex in the comments saying Raiders can't win without wide receivers. I mean, yeah, the Raiders need help everywhere. They need offensive linemen. They need wide receivers.
We had no Brock Bowers today, too. That was rough. I mean, Genty's the only bright spot for him. But I think even with wide receivers, someone's got to get him the ball.
Yeah, the Raiders need a lot. It's going to be interesting to see how the draft order ends up panning out and how some of these prospects start to perform, because none of the 2026 quarterbacks are really knocking my socks off. Arch Manning, he was supposed to be the guy. He's not entering the draft. He's had a rough start to his starting career in college football. Cade Klubnik was supposed to be another guy. Clemson's not really looking that good. Yes, they beat up on UNC, but UNC isn't really good either.
No.
Chris saying Myers having a dud lost me this week, but he's been solid. Yeah, Jacoby Myers has been solid, but he's not going to be able to carry a wide receiver room.
He's not a number one.
He's good. He's a solid wide receiver too. I really think if you can get another good guy in there, they might be in a solid spot. They have a couple rookies who I think could pan out. Dante Thornton, Jack Besh. Besh isn't really getting a lot of playing time, neither is Thornton, which doesn't really, I don't know, it's concerning given how weak their wide receiver room is, that neither one of their rookies can get meaningful reps. But Jason, moving on to the Sunday night preview, we have the Bills and the Patriots. The Bills are absolutely rolling. They're 4-0 to start the season. James Cook and Josh Allen have been playing at an insanely high level, whereas the Patriots are off to a much more modest 2-2 start to their season. And Drake May has been having flashes of the franchise quarterback that people are expecting him to be. Can Drake May and the Patriots pull off a monumental upset, or will Josh Allen and James Cook prove to be too much to overcome and the Bills steamroll this Patriots team?
This is that Bills trap game. I'm calling you out, Buffalo. You can lose this football game. Look, the Patriots are kind of middle of the road right now in the East with everybody else, but the Dolphins falling off, the Jets falling off. Patriots have a chance to really kind of start making some noise in the AFC. Drake May needs to control the game. Don't give the Bills extra possessions. Don't turn the ball over. Make smart throws. Go through your read. Look, they got a good running game. So you got 2-3 studs in the backfield there. So Ramon Stevenson, Gibson, and you got a good rookie back there too. So hand the ball off, control the clock, keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. So get you a 9-minute, scoring drive. Just grind this football game out. Patriots defense, they're going to be up for this game. You're on prime time. It's a divisional game. Buffalo's the overwhelming favorites. So yeah, Buffalo, you're on notice. I think, Josh Allen every once in a while has a dud game. So be prepared and don't be surprised if the Patriots come out and throw some swings and some haymakers at the Buffalo Bills and end up winning this game.
So, just to clarify, are you picking the Bills to win, or are the Patriots getting the upset, and this is the Josh Allen dud that does inevitably happen every year?
I think the Patriots win this football game. I think it's going to come down to like a field goal or something crazy, but I think the Patriots pull out the win. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game, but I do not see them going quietly. And again, Buffalo, every once in a while, they just have one of those like head scratcher games. And I think tonight's going to be it. So, yes, I got the Patriots winning this game. It's going to be a complete shutout for the state of New York today. I think everybody loses. So, be prepared.
Okay, and I'm picking the Bills, and I think they're really
That's an
good. I
easy
think
pick.
James, I know it's easy. That's why I'm making it, Jason. Chris saying Drake May will have a good game, but the Bills still come out on top. I think that's a really realistic scenario. Yeah, I think the Bills get it done. I think they're too good. I don't know if this is going to be their trap game. They have a couple other weaker opponents lined up. They got the Falcons on Monday Night Football, and then they got the Panthers. Those are also potential trap games. I'd love to see the Panthers pull off that upset. I think that'll be fantastic. Not going to happen though. That's a conversation for a few weeks down the line. Yeah, Buffalo's going to get it done, but I'd expect Drake May to have a good game. I don't think it's going to be particularly close. I just think James Cook's been playing too well. Josh Allen's playing really, really well. And yeah, I'm just really impressed with this Bills team. I don't think this is the week for that trap game, but I wouldn't be overly shocked. Chris also picking the Bills, and he should hopefully be back next week to discuss the Pittsburgh Steelers. Chris, I do hope you're back next week, and that will do it for tonight's episode of the Gridiron Address. Thank you all for watching.